your legs have to be far enough forward that he can't simply just do this. Okay, so I can't give room for that, or obviously to kick out. So to stop. Yeah, turning the hips can make it hard for them to kick out as well, but also just, if I'm here, see my right leg, will stop his foot from coming out, and having my left leg step forward enough, it's hard to put that across the hip. Stepping back here, going to cause problems. Obviously, your opponent's going to push your hand off sometimes. That's one of their defenses. We might have to start pinching onto the leg in cases like this. All right, or be ready that when they do free their leg, that's a time to try to pass. You want to keep your opponent somewhat flat, okay? Like with their hips facing the roof, here like this, okay? So I'm going to use a few things to tilt. Right now, I'm actually using his knee to help tilt. Sometimes it's just having that, it's part of the reason that you want that shoulder in front. You can get some tilting pressure, even with the shoulder there, without having to commit so much with your head. Often they'll stretch their knee out a little bit further. Sometimes it'll be a grip like this, walking, trying to keep him, like using my legs, trying to turn him back. Okay. Why do we want to go there? When he's on his side, none of the entries are good, right? Even if he's on his side here, he can start like freeing his knee way easier, but even if I try to go over under, it's such a bad angle to attack from. I feel like he's going to have all his counters available for the over under. We'll talk about the options for the over under here, but really when you enter the over under, you want to be here. Okay. It's also going to make it very hard to scoop underneath this near leg. Probably the only thing that it does, if he does so on this side, it does make switching to the single under on the far side a little easier. That's something we're going to look for if they're continuously trying to force themselves that way, but I don't really want to play this position here, right, when he's out on his side like this. If he's here, even from under the knee like this, sometimes it's hard to scoop in front. So if he's pushing my wrist, I'll scoop under the knee. I want to square him up. Okay, here's where I can start doing my attacks. All right, so with this right arm position, it is very important that I keep my elbow tight. Okay, elbow open just invites attacks. Particularly the choi bar is probably the most dangerous. Kimura is possibly dangerous. I just think the choi bar is just generally a better attack, so I'm more worried about choi bars, but he can scoop under this, right? As soon as the elbow opens, I'm in danger. Okay. Here, especially with my head towards the front side, he tries to scoop that, he's gonna have a hard time. Okay, so if I am holding the knee, it tends to be close to the knee, elbow tight. I don't want to be too much down the hip. Just feel like I'm not controlling him. He can probably, I want to kind of be pulling his knee away from his chest. If he pulls his knee to his chest here, he might be able to extract his leg or move it where he wants it. Okay, holding the knee will stop that a bit better. Okay, if our arm's been pushed low, I'll tend to hook underneath like a little hook around this, and again close my elbow, and that's usually to square up. Okay, and then I can start to hand fight. One progression from this, even better, slightly better grip actually, but you can only do this when their knees come away a little bit from the chest, is to sometimes go here. Okay, and that's like hand down, but my elbow along the line of his knee and closed in like this. This one, I think it makes it very hard for him to pull his knee to his chest, and it's great for eventually switching into like a over-under position. And it's harder, I just feel like I've made a bit more space. Sorry, like pull your knee to your chest here, right? Compared to here, I feel like he's gonna have a harder time getting that knee back. So I'm a bit closer to my entries I want. But of course, you just got to make sure that doesn't open out too much. Right here, there's the gap. Here, I think if he goes for a choi bar, it's going to be difficult, and I can always potentially pummel it. And that's where I'll talk about just some other grips. When I start thinking about going under the legs, I'll start going down towards the shin. So you should have your hand ready. It can go this way, but actually probably safer to go inside, right, towards the shin or ankle, to block his leg from being able to trap me and hook me. And then upper body grips are pretty common as well. As soon as he starts trying to win the grip on my arm, I'll tend to come forward with my legs, so it's harder for him to free his foot. And I can start putting my hand up over the shoulder. Thumb on the inside, okay? Thumb on the outside, I can still get choi bar, okay? As long as my thumb is on the inside of the grip, he tries to choi bar, I should have recourse to just pummel my hand as an underhook and work back. Okay, so anytime they go under, get ready to do this. We'll talk about how this can potentially set up some attacks later as well. On the other side, we can also anchor our arm. This can just aid in applying good pressure, somewhere here. Harder to grip break than for example, holding this. Okay, so some sort of anchoring here is going to be better. Or an alternative to this position is go in front of the shin with your bicep. Okay, not with your shoulder, but with your, like basically your elbow, and grip onto the belt or the pants lower down here. In this case, if you get this grip, this is going to open you up to things such as the belt drag, which can set up passes. So just talking about the left hand position, it tends to be a lower grip on the hip. Okay, I don't want to be too high on the knee. This will be easy for him to push off. Okay, my head can be blocking his knee from coming in, so I can grip a little bit lower if I need to. Like if I feel extra threat, my head will come over to try to assist that. So usually it's gripping here with, again, my shoulder in front. Sometimes you'll be needing to post on the mat. Okay, often that's when you need to move your weight back. Sometimes I need to move my weight back, post, so my legs are a lot more free to adjust my position. Okay, sometimes he's going to like shoulder drag or something. I'll need to post, give myself some stability to start to move. Okay, but most of the time we're hugging the leg. All right, so in the gi, some additional grips that you might want to use. One of the main ones is if you can get a good, nice high grip on the lapel, particularly if you can punch it down next to the arm. So this will basically do a few things. Okay, one, I was having to hold on, which he could have stripped my grip, and now I've got a good tight grip on the lapel, and I'm punching it down in a position where it's kind of hard to reach, right? So if he's trying to strip this, he's not going to have great power in his grip stripping abilities. Over the top, probably he will. He can strip this, right? But if I can punch it down, that's going to be difficult, okay? So it's going to be doing that. It's going to keep I can now have good pressure to keep his knee from pushing away from his chest, because I'm so anchored. When he tries to separate his knee from his chest, like push back, right? Very difficult. So if I move around, right, I get a good entry under the legs, compared to here where he might kick out a bit earlier, which can cause more issues. But you still will use this in the gi, because a lot of the time you don't see he's already putting pressure and you won't see the ability to reach to that collar. But if you can, the collar is obviously a nice grip. Lastly, the punch in front of the arm can also affect his ability to grip with that arm and push with that arm. Okay. This is something actually in no gi you can sometimes go inside the arm as well. That's a grip, especially if he's like annoying with pushing your grip. Sometimes you can go here just so he can't push your grip. But obviously a much more stable grip in the gi where we can hold. All right, so we're looking at now the over-under, answering the over-under. We're going to do a slow version of it first, and then there's like a different version which we tend to work for a bit quicker. Okay, so if we want to enter the over-under, for this one, we're going to start trying to put our head across body, and I'm going to post on the mat with my hand as I do so, okay? Because I want to start trying to tilt Aaron a little bit this way, okay? And I don't want to, if I'm hanging on, I'm already sort of starting to fall over, okay? So for this one, I'm going to start putting my head here, posting on the mat. Head should block. I really want to make it so he can't swing his leg over my head if he wants to as well. So it should be like in front of the thigh a little bit, opening a little bit of space, okay? Not too far though. If I go here, I'm going to really struggle to get past his leg. Okay, so only like just the edge of my head here blocking his leg. So as we do that, I want to start beating the knee line. So I've got some sort of grip here on this leg. Usually to beat the knee line, one of the best things to do is stretch the foot out. Okay, so I'm going to walk this way and go into a tripod. The further I walk this way, the more I beat the knee line. But as you can see, I'm going to run into a serious problem if I just do that. So there's a little bit of that going on, but only to the point where they can't grab your leg and turn it against you. Okay, so I do have to walk this way a little bit. Okay, the other thing is tripoding. Okay, by tripoding, I get to walk my feet. I get to keep my head in the same position as I'm walking my feet up. Okay, if I don't tripod, I'm never gonna get past his knee line. Okay, so you really got to like lift your hips high in the air.